Hi folks, I'm Doug at Dizzy Lizzie's, and this is a Hayter Harrier 48 that the customer says to me the drive's bad on it. Never said what the problem was, just said the drive's bad. So I'm thinking, well, maybe it's not pulling along, it's slow. Yeah, it's got a very drive unit on here, so maybe the belts are worn out. So you do the usual, you start it up, you engage the drive and see what happens. Nothing happened. Okay, well, let's pick the machine up so the rear roller's off the ground, because sometimes the drive gets that bad that it won't rotate the rear roller with the weight of the machine on it. Rear roller still doesn't move. Okay, well, maybe the belt's come off of it. Well, how can I check that without actually lifting the machine up and looking underneath of it? Well, basically that's the easiest way. You put it in the higher section, tip the machine up, and you can look up through there to see if the belt's on. And it is. So, is the cable broken? Well, I can feel that when you pulled the lever here, there was tension underneath it. So the cable hasn't broken. And if the spring had broken but the cable was still intact, that would not pull up and you can pull this a bit slack. So okay, so it's not the cable. What's the next thing to do? I engages the drive, and it's to see if the chains are all connected or it's part of the mechanism for the freewheeling. It's playing up. So I pushed it forward, and when I pulled it back, it pulled back. It shouldn't do that. It should lock up the rear roller. So I know what these machines are like, because I've worked on a few of them in the past, and I've had this one problem come in probably twice, and what I suspect is the roll pin that goes through on one of the cogs has sheared. So to get to that, I've got to take the rear axle out. So let's start getting it ready. Now this is a 561D lawn mower, which is similar to that 48, it's just it's wider. And you can see what I mean by when I engage the drive. I'll engage the drive lever, push it forward, and the machine goes forward. Pull it back, and that's locked. And that's what that 48 isn't doing. So that's the reason why I'm taking the rear axle out. Okay, so I've prepped the mower, I've disconnected the drive cable, I've taken the knob off so the axle can come this way, I've taken off the blade, the disc, and finally, because of a few rounded off bolts, the cover. I've also then cleaned all the muck out of here, so I'm now ready to start. Now you may be wondering why I think that the roll pin in here is damaged or broken up. Is this: if the chain had come off, I wouldn't be able to do that. All that simply due to this. If the chain had come off, it would get wrapped around these sprockets. So that's why I think that the roll pin's sheared. So anyway, I've taken the blade, the disc, the undercover off, and now you've got this lever, this bar here, which connects to the front axle. It's only held on with a star washer, and it's easy enough. Just put it behind there and off it comes. Now I've set the axle in the lowest position so I can get access to that bolt, one in here, two there, and two more here. So what I'll do is I'll undo them and get ready to take the axle out. Okay, so all the bolts are undone. I've pushed the drive cable through a bit. I'll just, now it's a bit slack, disconnect the drive cable or the drive belt from there, and now it should jiggle out. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it on a higher height adjustment. And that will give me a bit more play to help wiggle it out. Now again, be careful because of that height adjuster lever bringing back. Right, now it's out, I'll quickly disconnect the drive cable. Just clip it either side, off it comes. That's there, cable's to one side, and now I'll clean inside there, give this a clean up, and then get ready to take this drive cover off. I'm going to have to start charging people for rehousing their snails. Now that a snail has been rehoused, let's get on with taking this cover off. I was wrong. The chains actually come off. Probably because of the lack of maintenance. That sprocket is worn, but I know what this customer's like. He's not going to be bothered. He's just going to say, oh, just put it back together again. So let's get the chain off, find the clip and readjust it, refit it. The adjusting clip. One on here. There it is. And that's the little thin one, which has got the split link. God, that's rusty as anything. So you've got the small clip, the front cover. Look how rusty that is. And that's the ice cream van in the back. Get this turned around a bit. Pop that off. Put it basically straight back on. Now, so I'm going to ring the customer up and say to him, look, do you want me to put a new chain and sprocket kit on this? Otherwise it's not worth it, because that's slack as anything and it will just drop off again. I won't say put new sprockets, just a new chain should actually improve it. Now, I was able to get hold of the chain today, because this is the next day, and what I've done is I've got some motorbike chain lube. That's what it is, motorbike chain lube, and I've sprayed it around the cogs and I've sprayed it over the chain. So let's now attach it. And automatically I can see that this is a lot tighter than the old one. So even with the worn sprockets, you can see that there's a lot less slack. So right, next thing to do is attaching the connector. Now you've got the plate that goes over it, but the next thing that's important is this clip. Now I don't know if you can see the shape of the clip. Can you see that? When you attach it, always have the section which is open in the opposite side of the rotation. And if you wonder what I mean is, that's the side that's open, but the chain will rotate this way. And it's like when you had push bikes, the clip's that way, because when the chain's going this way and it hits anything, it's not going to ping off. If it was round the other way, there's a chance that if it hits anything, it'll ping that clip off. So that's the reason why you have that clip around that way. Right. Next thing to do is attach the chain cover. Got to get some copper slip and a socket out, and then I'll attach it into onto the mower. Okay, so I've put the chain cover on, I've connected up the drive cable, I've put a little bit of lube on it. So the next thing to do is lift up this bar here, which is your height adjuster, get it to locate in the groove there, and be careful, because if that releases like that, it'll bruise your finger for a couple of weeks. So anyway, a little bit. So right, first thing to do, you make sure that bar is the other side of the plastic angle piece here. Then just feed it through. You can gently line it up. Sometimes you might have to put your finger through to help guide that bar into the height adjuster rods or selector, and just keep pushing it in. Then just keep moving it in, lining it up, and making sure that all these bearing housings are held in the right place. Next thing, I have copper slipped the holes. The next thing to do is make sure your socket's on your machine so it doesn't drop out while you're waiting. That drive cable's in the way. Line it up. Get that centre one there in position. And that's it in position. Yeah, that should hold it. So you can put the two bolts here, the other bolt there, the two bolts here, and the bolt that holds the gearbox in position once you've put the belt on. Now once I've got that bolt in there, I set the axle height at the lowest point. That way you can get in easily to tighten all these bolts up, including the one that's in there. Don't forget that one. It's quite important, the two here. I've also put the belt on. Now, next thing to do is this, and that's the height adjustment bar between the rear axle and the front axle. Now, what I do is I then take it from the lowest setting and I set it to the highest setting. And as you can see, now that there should literally just pop in. Now what I've got to do next is I've got a star washer. It's one of these things that looks like this, and it fits nicely over the end of a 10mm socket. I can just gently put it on the end there, and a couple of taps and it's in position. So the next thing to do is put the quadrant on here the disc cover and the disc, and then I'll have to flip it upright and attach the cables. So I'll do that, and next time you'll see this will be in the right position. Okay, I've put all the bits on the pieces at the bottom. I've connected up the drive cable. I've put the adjuster knob on there. Now before I'm going to even start it up, I want to see what happens when I engage the drive lever. So it goes forward, and when I pull it back, it's now locked up. So it's now doing what it's supposed to do. So the next thing to do, take it outside and give it a spin. Okay, let's see what happens. Even the vari drive works. So the next thing you do, zip ties around the cables and call the customer. So there you are, folks. If you've got a machine that's lost its drive, pick it up. If the rear roller starts turning, it could be a belt that's loose, worn out, the gearbox is worn out, the cable's not been adjusted correctly. If you pick it up and it doesn't turn, then there's no drive getting to the gearbox. And if you engage the drive and you can roll it backwards and forwards without the rear roller locking up, it's more than likely a chain problem. Whether that be on a 479 or any other particular type piece of machinery. This, I think, is a 460 series. So anyway, hope you found that helpful. If you did, please hit the like button. If you found it really helpful, it's much appreciated and totally free to hit the subscribe button. So until next video, folks, take care and see you then. Bye.